Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Todd Frazier, Brett Laurie, Chris Sale and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Adam Jones, Manny Machado, Chris Davis, and Buck Showalter's Baltimore Orioles. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get to bring you the finale of this 4-game series and the 7-game road trip. As you know, we started off 3 in Toronto. Sox swept those 3 up there. Orioles took the first 2 here, and then last night, and once again, late inning heroics and a late inning comeback victory.
That's been a characteristic of this ball club, and last night no exception, because it looked like a game that they might have lost. However, in the 7th inning, Austin Jackson comes up. It's a 5-3 game at the time, and he makes it 5-4. Brett Laurie, who had gotten on, stolen a base, scores on the base hit. Then in the 8th inning, against a guy who hadn't given up a run all year, Darren O'Day, Abreu dumps it into right field, his first of 2 hits to right field, and it's a tie game. And then Todd Frazier comes up, hits his 7th home run of the year. It's now 7-5, but that lead wouldn't hold up as Chris Davis hit a 2-run double. So we'll head to the top of the 9th inning, and Abreu comes up again, punches it through the right side. Rickard can't get it out of the glove. Adam Eaton, who had butted his way on, scores what turned out to be the winning run. This team has scored over half its runs late in the ballgame, and last night the heroes, Austin Jackson, Jose Abreu, Todd Frazier, and this team scored 5 runs from the 7th inning on, and if they continue to do that, they're going to win their share.
And on the bump for us this afternoon, one of the best in the business.
Chris Sale going to the mound, 5-0, and last time out in Toronto, he was absolutely brilliant once again. He starts out throwing the ball 91 miles an hour, maybe 92, but then he mixes in a real good slider. He throws a soft one, he throws a hard one, and he throws some high fastballs later in the game by their left-handers, and Chris was absolutely brilliant once again. But taking a look at his mound opponent, Ubaldo Jimenez. Jimenez 3-4 lifetime against our Sox. His ERA up there at 4.17. Chris 1-2 against the Orioles, but look at their batting average against. They've hit him to a 3.04 clip. Now, a lot of that was out of the bullpen. As you can see, 10 appearances, only 4 starts against the Orioles. As you know, Chris has become a lot tougher since he's been a full-time starter. Let's see if they can split this series and come back with a wonderful road trip.
If they do with this one today, it'll be a 5-2 road trip. It's already been a good one anyway. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Toyota. Discover more in a Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com or your local Toyota dealer today. Let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Audi. Truth in engineering. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
Welcome back to very rainy, very damp Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And let's take a look at how Robin is going to line up our Sox for the game this afternoon. Adam Eaton leading it off, and then Carlos Sanchez, who had a pinch double last night to go with a walk, is in the 2 spot. Then it's Jose Abreu, Todd Frazier, who over the last 10 has driven in 10 and hit 4 home runs. And it's Melky, Brett, Jerry, Yanner, and Austin Jackson rounding it out. The defense and how they'll line up behind Ubaldo Jimenez. It's Nolan Reimold, Adam Jones, and Joey Rickard in the outfield, with Manny Machado, J.J. Hardy, Jonathan Scope, and Chris Davis in the infield. Caleb Joseph for the second time in the 4-game series behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Ubaldo Jimenez. On for the 5th start, ZRA up close to 4. 26 strikeouts in 23 innings. He had a great curveball last time out, and we'll see sometimes his control not quite what he'd like. And the umpires for the game this afternoon: Jerry Davis, the crew chief behind the plate, Corey Blazers at first, Sam Holbrook at second, and Carlos Torres is at third. So Adam steps in. Time to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Stoney. Thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball and the first pitch of the ball game. Taken for a strike. It might behoove our guys to understand there's a good chance that that plate's going to get a little bigger.
Getaway day and a very damp day.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as the count 1-1. You don't have that repartee now, that relationship between players and umpires that in years past existed. On getaway days and days like this, they would tell you when you came to the plate, swing the bat.
Well, you saw the weather forecast. It said chance of showers. It's a good chance. In fact, it's 100% because the showers are here.
That's low. 2-2.
Aldo has a pretty good changeup, and occasionally what happens is, because there's so many moving parts in his windup, sometimes his head starts to move toward the Oriole dugout on the right side, and then his control is just not there.
One out. Well, of course, the culture of the game was different in those time zones. If you take another look at this, bottom just falls out of it. Everybody, with the exception of the Dodgers back in those days, flew commercial. They had their own plane. They were the first team to have that. And the Yankees, I believe, were the second. As here is Carlos Sanchez. Carlos, a big hit last night. That double leading off 8th inning. Ball's hit sharply. Scopes got it. 2 down. So with 2 out, let's check out our picks to click. Command show, our director and crew. Well, they went with Austin Jackson. Steve's going with Adam Eaton. And for all our Greek friends and fans out there, Christos Anesti, Alathos Anesti, happy Easter to each and all. Here's Abreu, 6 for 12 in the series with a couple of big RBIs.
When it's damp around the pitcher's mound, as it is, you have to really worry about that front foot. And so, even though it's a whole lot of clay on the mound, sometimes it does get slick. When it does that, we'll see some of the drying compound, and the pitcher will ask to have it put there. You see little of the dirt kind of kicked up where that front foot will land. It's essential you get good footing.
There's a perfect pitcher's pitch on the 2-0 counts.
There you see, as it's kicking up now, so far the clay doing a pretty good job of sucking up the moisture, and it's not slick. It will be.
And that's foul. I don't recall exactly when they started using that drying compound, but I know the Bossert family and George Tolman were two of the front runners, and getting fields that were wet playable. And I know in the minor leagues, coming up in the minor leagues, you can forget about that. Pitchers, poor pitchers, had to get out there, slide all over that mound.
There were literally puddles all over the field. I mean, it was pretty much, you need water wings.
I've seen pitchers, as you have too, in the minor leagues, deliver a pitch and just slide all the way off the front of the mound.
Which happened, and Roger Bossert, one of the best ever at building fields and new drainage systems. Now the outfield's almost at every ballpark. It can rain a foot, and within an hour the drainage systems just take all the moisture out of the outfield.
Well, Roger truly was a genius in that. He did not go in there as ball 4, so the 2-out walk.
Baldo came over to the Orioles as a free agent. He had spent time with Colorado. That was his first team. Had a great year with them in 2010. 19-8, an ERA of 2.88 in that ballpark, Coors Field. 2.88 ERA, magnificent. Then he spent some time in Cleveland, parts of 3 seasons before coming to Baltimore.
So here's Todd Frazier. A couple of home runs, 4 big RBIs, and another one of those 2 last night, a big 2-run homer.
First home run Darren O'Day has given up all year. 3 runs, the first runs he's given up all year, and the Sox came back late.
And that ball hit sharply. Long peg. Nice pick at first base. Beautiful play by Hardy, taking away a base hit and a possible inning. Meanwhile, no score.
Rickert, Machado, and Trumbo at the top, with Jones, Davis, and Hardy in the middle. Then it's Raimo, Scope, and Caleb Joseph rounding it out. The defense, and how they'll line up behind Chris Sale, Melky Cabral, Austin Jackson, Adam Eaton in the outfield with Todd Frazier, Carlos Sanchez at shortstop, Brett Lowry, Jose Abreu, Deanna Navarro behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Chris Sale. Looking for win number 6, would be his best start ever. His ERA, a very stingy 1.66.
So here's Rickert, Joey, 2 for 9 in the series, hitting at 280, a couple of homers. He's driven in 7. Orioles hitting at 273 as a club. Our Sox hitting at 239 as a team.
Joey hasn't seen the Sale slider. Hasn't met it, right-hander, left-hander. When you see it for the first few times, it's almost impossible to hit. and normally very difficult anyway.
He had plenty of time. He took it and made the play. 1 out.
It's the one thing that Rickard has gone to work on, and that is bunting. It's Chris Sale, you see 24% sliders, that fastball 62%. Rickard with 5 infield hits is very fast. He can learn how to bunt it, and with a left-hander on the mound, push it to the right side. He's going to be a lot better off.
There's Machado. Off to just a terrific start. 23-year-old youngster. 35 home runs last year. He's hitting .344, 7 homers and 16 knocked in. And that evens accounted 1.
See the fastballs from Chris Sale, 89, 91. Now you know that he can get it up there when he wants to. 96, 97 miles an hour, but he just doesn't go to it early.
Sox come in with that 17-8 mark. 3 games in front. And of course, that 3-game lead entering May. The month of May is the largest in franchise history, pre or post 1969. Breaking the mark of 2 games in front, set back in 2000.
This is not allowed a run in the first inning. His last 8 starts dating back to last September.
There's a good piece of hitting on a breaking ball. He just waited on it. Got out in front foot, kept his hands back. So he's the hot bat in this lineup.
First slider of the day, and he goes down and gets it. Machado, who is a slugger, getting up over 350 now.
Trumbo. He's off to a big start for him. 337, 6 homers, 19 RBIs, 2 for 11 with a long home run in this series.
Trumbo's going to hit mostly fly balls. He is a home run hitter with big power to all fields. But an inviting double play target, if you can get him to hit the ball on the ground. He's grounded into 3 of them this year.
He got a good pitch to hit right there. A little upset with himself as he pops it up. 2 down. One thing about this Oriole team, we talked a lot about how potent they are and how dangerous they are. So probably the exact way to frame it. This is one of the most dangerous lineups in all of baseball. One of the big reasons these guys are good mistake hitters, and most of them create some good hang time at the plate.
Well, you know they're sluggers, but they're also second in the league behind Boston in batting average.
Well, you can't have guys this strong unless they keep their hands back and create a little hang time, and they do that extremely well. That's what makes them so dangerous. There, Adam was just way late. Jones at 224. This is the first game you've seen. We talked about he's got some bad ribs. It's hard to swing when you get a bad rib. He's got a couple of them.
He also, in yesterday's game, took a tumble in the outfield and looked like when he got up, those ribs were probably bothering him a little bit worse. But he's one of those guys that you got to pretty much drag him off the field to get him to stop playing.
Now, he's a leader on this ball club. You mentioned why in game 1.
Yeah, talking to him, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, about an early meeting Buck Showalter had with him. In that meeting, when he first got here, he didn't run out a ball in the infield. Buck Showalter called him into the office and said, look, son, you're going to be the leader of this team. There's no doubt about that. And so everybody is going to look at you and watch everything you do. If you loaf, they'll copy it. If you hustle, they will hustle because you're going to be the guy they look to, and he's taken it seriously since then. Credit Showalter. I'm not sure if Buck would have done that early in his career, but you and I both have a tremendous amount of respect for the guy. Not only because what he's accomplished, but because he has progressed as a manager just like players progress.
Said Buck's one of those guys. There's no in between. You really like him or you really don't like him. You show me one of those guys as a player, as a manager, one of most things. Show me one of those guys and I'll show you one.
He's been that, and he is as prepared as any manager who's ever managed this game. Again, you might differ with the style. You can't differ with the preparation or the effort.
Well, every time I think about Buck Showalter, I always think about Gabe Morrell, one of our great guys in the organization. He's the visiting clubhouse manager there at U.S. Cellular Field. Gabe and his crew, they're going to be busy. Got Boston coming in starting Tuesday, so make your plans to be with us at the ballpark. Boston and Minnesota. That 6-game homestand.
Baltimore's on a streak where in their 20 games they've got 17 at home. They got to make the most of this stretch.
Oh, nice pitch out in front. And that'll retire the side. After one, there is no score. Chicago's most popular game show where fans test their sports trivia knowledge and try to win cold hard cash. Now, the premiere of Beer Money, sponsored by Coors Light, tonight at 7, right here on Comcast Sports Net. Cabrera, Laurie, and Sands. Ubaldo Jimenez, 6'5", 210 pounds, 32 years old, out of La Romana in the Dominican Republic. La Romana, beautiful little place.
Ubaldo's hero growing up, Pedro Martinez. Pretty good hero if you're from the Dominican Republic.
There's the strike. Melky, 1 for 13 in this series. And the count 2-2.
Baltimore, a very good defensive team. And a strong bullpen, although that's what the Sox touched up last night.
There's a ball hit hard but foul. Checking to see if he cracked his bat. He did. These maple bats, you can hit it hard and still crack it. The big hurt, Frank Thomas. Saw him a couple of times. Dead center it. And the bat just exploded. Of course, when you're as strong as he was, you can do that with a lead pipe.
Oh, just off the corner. Good call by Jerry Davis. I think Baldo wanted that, but not that far outside.
And there's ball 4. Well, this has been a well umpired series. Boy, Blazer had a couple of tough, but overall he was okay. Then Sam Holbrook was almost perfect in his game in number 2, and then Carlos Torres had a good game last night. So here's Brett. Laurie at 267, 3 for 11 in the series, and of the 3 hits he's had, 1 of them stayed in the park.
Waldo has pretty quick feet going to first base for a big man. And that time, that signal came from Caleb Joseph behind the plate. Many times catchers will just flip up their thumb, and that is the signal to go to first base.
Takes a strike. Brett has faced Jimenez 11 times, has 4 hits, 1 homer.
The home run he hit in this series was a high fastball. It's going to be an outside fastball.
Well, both of them have been hit very hard. Plenty of distance. Of course, you can get some cheap home runs in this ballpark.
Yeah, 364 the power alleys, 333 down the lines with a very low fence, so line drives that would be doubles in other parks are home runs here.
That's hit softly into center field. Jones did not get a good break on it. Melky reading it perfectly.
Well, that was heads-up base running by Melky. And that's one of the big differences between this year as opposed to last. It's not that they're stealing more bases, because they're not. It's just that they're more aware on the base paths. And Melky read this one all the way, knowing that there was no way Adam Jones could get to it. He sees it here, realizes it's going to fall, and then just takes off. And also, one of the things that base runners do know is when you get the ball in the outfield today, it's going to be a wet baseball. It's going to be a lot more difficult to control.
Well, let's face it. Past few years, we've had some guys who just could not run the bases. Our base running was atrocious. I don't think it's hard to say anything's the best, hard to say anything's the worst, but there was no other worse base running team than us for a couple of years.
And you don't have to be fast. What you have to do is you got to see where the outfielders line up.
Check your outfielders.
And then you have to have a good sense of, can they get to it? You have to know the speed of the outfielders. You have to know some guys throw better going to their right. Some guys throw just as well going to their left. You have to know the difference between the two.
And plus, running the bases, another element comes into play that very seldom is talked about as far as base running, and that's the sound. You hear the way the ball comes off the bat, you know if it's centered or not. And Adam took a step back on that. As Jerry Sands with a 1-1 count. Jerry 2 for 4 in the series.
Javi Garcia tweaked the hamstring, so he will be at the very earliest ready to play on Tuesday. So Jerry getting a chance to get some at bats that he wouldn't normally have gotten.
I remember playing golf with Willie Mays at Acosta. And we were talking, and I asked Willie, I said, is there a key for you, why you're such a great outfielder? He goes, two things. I said, what is it? He said, first of all, I don't take a strikeout or a pop-up out to center field. That's number one. He said, next thing is I use my ears. You don't think that was a fun round with Willie? We had a threesome. Willie, Frank Howard, and myself. Big Hondo.
I'm surprised they could find clubs long enough for the big guy.
He was using regular clubs. He didn't have it. He didn't own any golf clubs. He had to borrow a set out there. And at that time, 43 inches was the standard for the driver. He was using a 43-inch driver. He looked like he was trying to tie his shoes. That will load him up.
Well, a chance to break on top early and to put some daylight between the Sox and the Orioles. The Orioles, a good come from behind team. We've seen that in the series. They're a good offensive team. But the Sox have proven to be a tenacious team that loves to score late, although no aversion to scoring early.
And this is a big bat right here in this game. Down in Navarro. 1 for 7 in the series. Big at bat. And that pitch was off the plate, called a strike. Well, that's a bad way to start this at bat. Instead of ball one. Neither one of those balls had the plate. And he's 0-2.
Well, especially with a guy that's walked 3 men already early. Jimenez is struggling with his control, and he just got the benefit of a couple of calls. And Deanna, with the bases loaded, a couple of grand slams and a 253 average.
Well, they're going to go out there again. Why not? And I'll tell you what, that's just a terrible at bat by Jerry Davis. That is a brutal 3 calls right there. In a big situation in the ball game. That is absolutely brutal.
Menard's pitch tracks will show you that one of those pitches at the plate.
So much for having a good umpired series already, and here in the 2nd inning.
Now this becomes the bigger at bat. You got to come out of here with a couple, if you could, at least one certainly.
Boy, that is absolutely terrible.
The arms in the outfield very accurate, although not overpoweringly strong. We've seen Adam Jones get an assist in this series.
Well, you can thank that inning a lot to Jerry Davis. That was absolutely terrible.
by Miller Lite.
First pitch strike. Hardy 3 for 13 in the series.
That's the best slider Chris has thrown, and Hardy, who was nicked up just a touch last year, has battled some injuries in the last few years.
Pass going foul. Just a rolling, slow breaking ball.
There's been a couple of guys on that breaking ball early, and that was Machado and Hardy.
Well, they kept their hands back. And that's popped up right side. Everybody a long way to go. Adam now taking charge. And fair ground makes the catch.
Cover all the bases for just $79 by purchasing an Abreu 4-pack. Each pack includes 4 upper box game tickets, 4 hot dog value meals, and a parking pass. Abreu 4-packs are available now for all Thursday home games. Visit whitesox.com/Abreu to order yours today. In those Thursday home games, you can also get yourself a t-shirt. This Thursday, it's going to be Melky.
So here's Reimold. He had the 3-run homer. Won game 2 6-3. Talking with some Baltimore people yesterday as he's not going to be able to get there. And everybody over there thought it was just a high fly ball. Meanwhile, it went out of here. Just did get over that scoreboard out there in right field.
Well, a combination, number 1, he's awfully strong, and number 2, that's not a real long way to hit the ball.
No, not on a high fly ball.
No, this is a wonderful place to hit.
And that's popped up. Two down. Jonathan Scope will be the hitter. 24-year-old second baseman.
He is very strong. We've seen it in this series. He can hit it a long ways, not off to a very quick start. The 4 home runs, 11 driven in. He's got to be among the most powerful of second basemen in the league.
Takes a strike.
Chris has thrown 7 or more innings in 7 of his last 8 games. So he's kept the bullpen inactive, which is something you want from your number 1 guy.
Reminds me somewhat of Russell with the Cubs. Strong.
Oh, Addison Russell?
Yeah.
Very strong.
Carlos can't quite get enough on it.
Well, that was a remarkable effort by Carlos Sanchez at shortstop. He was playing Scope up the middle, had a range to his right. The off-balance throw, he got it there, but couldn't get it there in time. And let's see.
In real time, it looked like he beat it, but right there, it looked like that foot still may have been in the air.
Probably too close to take a gamble on an early challenge with 2 outs in the inning in the bottom part of the order.
Here's Joseph, Caleb Joseph, the catcher, hitting at .226 on the season. 0 for 3 in this series. Takes first pitch strike.
6 of 9. First pitch strikes.
And the count 0-2.
It's raining at getaway day. Swing the bat.
I don't mind that, but when you have a big situation like the honor, no. You got to make the guy throw some strikes. Joseph's not going to say a word about it. I guarantee you that.
Nope.
That's off Chris. Recovers. Hopefully it didn't get him on the ankle bone. Meanwhile, we're into the third. Dan Hayes all season long on CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape. Top of the order here in the top of the third. Adam Eaton struck out leading off the ball game. Adam now 3 for 12 lifetime off Jimenez. Boy, that bunt heat off a tough left-hander last night if you missed that ball game. Leading off the 9th inning. That bunt started it off. And he came around to score what turned out to be the winning run. Plus the fact Britton pulled something, hurt himself, his ankle, and had to leave the ball game. He's not available today, Steve said.
No, he is not available, and David Robertson is back with the ball club. So one team gets their closer, another, at least for the time being, loses their closer. Apparently the injury to Britton is not serious, but he won't be available for a bit. And the Orioles do have the off day tomorrow before the Yankees come to town.
I talked with Ivy after the game last night. Said he's okay. A hamstring that he tweaked. Boy, I'll tell you, he was really swinging that bat.
Yeah, he looked a whole lot better on the road trip. I mean, he was hitting the ball hard. He was hitting it to left. He was hitting it to right field. That's a good sign. Sox fans, join us as we welcome back White Sox greats on homecoming weekend, Friday, May 20th through the 22nd. when the White Sox battle the Royals. Homecoming weekend is presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com.
One out to Carlos Sanchez, who grounded out to not his counterpart today. He's playing shortstop, but he grounded out to Scope at second. This might be just about as good a defensive infield as there is in the American League.
Well, they're picking up this year where they left off last year. Last year, 77 errors all season. That was the fewest in the American League.
Two down. These guys can really pick it.
This time he saves a two-base hit. Davis with quick feet to his left kept it out of right field.
Well, they tell me, Baltimore people, that he's been just about as good as any first baseman in the league. And of course, you got Hosmer of Kansas City, who is. Chris has really picked it up.
He has.
Here's Abreu. He walked back in the first inning. Scope was not the biggest of range at second base, but he's got a tremendous arm. And then, of course, you got that left side reminds me of Brooks Robinson and Aparicio, who used to play with in that Baltimore uniform. They got everything over there on that left side.
And later Belanger came along and they didn't miss a step defensively.
That's slowly hit. Machado. So a couple of good plays, and we'll go to the bottom of the third. Still no score. Oden is joined by NFL experts Dave Wanstead, Wani, Jim Miller, and Habar Kush as they recap and assess every Bears draft pick. Sportsnet Central, Draft Central, tonight at 10:30 on CSN Chicago.
A few White Sox fans in attendance on what has been a gloomy, very chilly weekend. However, you leave here 2-2, you're feeling pretty good. Especially because the road trip would be 5-2, and you're taking a team that was the best in baseball at home coming into this series. And that was the Orioles. Rule 5 draft out of Tampa Bay. Joey Rickard. He's made the most of his opportunity to play just about every day.
He impressed me last night in that at bat against Nate Jones.
swing the bat real well. And he beat out Hyun-Soo Kim, who they brought in from Korea to be the everyday outfield.
Sideway. Well, he had some really good rips. Some 97-mile-an-hour fastball, some a tough right-hander, and finally Nate got him to go out to right field.
He was odd man out in that outfield. They told him at Tampa Bay, which was kind of nice, that they were dropping him from the 40-man, and there was a very good chance he would be picked in the Rule 5. Baltimore got him as insurance, and now he's the everyday guy.
Well, Kim, 3 for 4 in that game last night. He pinched it earlier. He was 4 for 5 in the series. And all he is, since he's been in the Baltimore uniform, is 9 for 14. Well, there's a base hit. Leadoff man aboard.
He battled in this at bat, 8 pitches, finally got one down the middle and took it into left center field. So the third single of Chris Sale.
And the only out that Kim made in that game last night, he hit a bullet with the leadoff man aboard into a 4-6-3 double play. So here is Machado. Got a breaking ball and got a base hit in the left field. And there's the base hit. I mentioned he's swinging the hot dog. He is the most dangerous man in this lineup.
This isn't a bad pitch. It's just up a little higher than Chris would have liked it. And Machado 2 for 2. Takes it through the vacated right side with Abreu having to hold Rickard close. Machado going that way. And Chris Sale in some trouble.
That's his 4th hit in the series to right field. There's Trumbo. He fouled out to Abreu. Two out, nobody on.
4th game of the series for Buck Showalter. 4 different lineups.
Now Trumbo with the catbird seat, 2-0. He was looking for it, got it, put a good pass on it, and just underneath it.
That fastball right down the middle. Trumbo fouled it straight back. It's one of the few teams that have given Chris some problems. They came in with a team batting average up over 300 against Chris for the course of his career. Very few teams can say that.
That had a little piece of the zone at the bottom and didn't get it. So 3-1. And a full count.
That one off the mask. It looked like of Jerry Davis. He's shaken up. Get him in the hand. Wrist, and it looks like it's swollen immediately. That time Trumbo helped Chris out because he swung at a pitch that was inside off the plate.
And the payoff pitch. Oh yeah.
He got hit by the ball and he swung at it. Now we've seen that happen a lot
with Chris
on the mound.
That's right.
I mean, Trumbo is still trying to shake off the effects, and he's got a smile on his face, a very sheepish grin as he takes one off the knee.
You know, I want to tell you something. That's a Torrey Hunter.
Jeez.
You gotta laugh at yourself. You can't laugh at yourself. You got a problem.
No, he comes back and he's going to be hearing about that one for a while.
Especially if they were to win this ball game. No, they'll be all over him on that one. Here's Adam Jones. He drew a walk.
That was the first strikeout of the game for Chris, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
That look on Torrey Hunter's face when he swung at that pitch that hit him was priceless. That's one of the greatest shots Jim Angio in his illustrious Hall of Fame career has ever had right there. That's out of play. So the count 1-1.
For the game, Nicole McFadden, who is their head groundkeeper, was on the phone talking with umpires about the rain possibilities, and it did start to rain just before the game started, but the rain has gone away.
Oh, pick it, nice, and turn it, yes. A beautiful, beautiful 5-4 3-double play, and that'll retire the side.
This time it's Todd Frazier ranging to his left. Pretty quick 5-4-3, and the same thing was true with Jimenez on the mound in the second inning with the bases loaded. He got out with a 5-4-3.
Look at this. Look at this. Off the glove of Machado, right to Hardy. So that is 2 times that he has hit a ball in the hole. Hardy robbed him the first trip up. And now Machado did a great job just to get a piece of leather on it. So 1 out.
Now Frazier couldn't believe it. You very rarely, if ever, will see a 5-6-3 put out. And that's exactly what happened. And Frazier just looked back going, couldn't believe it. Nice job by Hardy reaching to his left, and the Orioles dugout appreciative of that. That was a rocket. Deflected right to Hardy.
1-1 to count. That ball's hit hard. And Rickard. That ball fooled him, but he stayed with it and was able to recover and make the play.
Well, there's been 2 up and 2 bullets. Rickard very fortunate as this ball is rising. He's able to just cut across at the top of his jump, haul it in.
So here's Brett. He singled back in the 2nd inning. Good pitch there. And the count 1-2.
Menez has a straight change and a splitter to go with it. Not throwing a whole lot of fastballs today.
That ball hit hard in the center field. Adam going back. Get over his head. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Just a line shot out of here, and the Sox lead it 1-0. First.
The 3rd home run in as many games for Brett Lawrie. And this time he just reached down out of the strike zone. The 4th home run replay, it was a fastball. You figure throwing it about calf high you'd keep it in the park, but not this time. 2 for 2 and a 1-run lead.
Well, we talked about it when he was in Toronto. We talked about it when he was in Oakland. Just how strong he is. He is really strong.
Well, he showed it to you there, going out the deepest recesses of the ballpark. Now Chris Sale, who has not had an easy inning in his first 3, does however have the lead.
It Sands, he walked. And man is called out on a close pitch. Meanwhile, the homer, and it is 1-0 good guy.
To you by Travel Wisconsin. Plan your fun today at travelwisconsin.com. It's going to be the Red Sox and the Twins coming to town after the off day tomorrow, and then it's on to Texas for the next 3 series. Should be very entertaining for a very exciting White Sox team.
It'll be Davis, Hardy, and Reimold. Big sweeper. One. Stay right with it.
Well, 3 pitches exactly the same, and no chance at all as Davis just looks.
Well, you don't want to throw him a low fastball. We have seen since he's been in the American League enough of that stuff like he got last night. He gone. On the outside corner.
Outguessed him there because after a steady diet of breaking balls, he heated him up and got him looking. Only the second strikeout for Chris. One swinging and that one looking.
Well, here's one of the fan favorites, and justifiably so, here in Baltimore. J.J. Hardy. Popped up. Adam Eaton. A run on 2 hits, no errors for our guys. No runs, 4 hits, no errors for their guys. Here in the bottom of the 4th, if you're just tuning in. But Laurie with his 3rd home run of the series. And of course, with that home run, Alex Snellius, another generous donation to White Sox charities in loving memory of Ursa.
Sweeping slider and fouled that one right off his foot.
Two pitch. That was a strike at the top of the zone. Didn't get it. Out walk.
Every Monday this season, the White Sox will feature a flash sale in which 200 tickets in select lower level seating categories will be available for just $10. Each sale runs for 24 hours or until the tickets are gone. So for full details, visit whitesox.com/flash sale.
Here's Reimold. He popped up. Carlos Sanchez at short. Short lead by Hardy. Hardy, not a bunch of speed, not a ton of range at short, but what hands he has. Good arm.
This is yet to have a 1-2-3 inning. Limited them to 4 singles.
Hardy in his major league career has 8 stolen bases. He gone.
That's one of the first times that he's gone up and out of the zone, throw a fastball by any of these hitters. Change eye levels, high heat. Raimel cannot check his swing.
So here is Jonathan Scope at an infield single. Boy, that was beautiful. Beautiful. Moving strike. Nice pass at that one. 0-2. That old saying, the better the pitcher, the earlier you better get them.
They had their shots. As the Sox have had their shots at Ubaldo, but just a 1-0 game.
Well, that baseball adage, that saying that I just said right there, it's disappearing because guys don't go 9 innings.
No, they don't do it too often. We saw Chris go the distance in a game that he absolutely had to go the distance because he didn't get his run until the 9th inning and still shut him down. That was in Tampa Bay.
Well, we've had 5 shutouts this year.
Pretty amazing. I think it took until July, early July last year to have the 5th shutout.
Got him. Strikes out the side. We go to the 5th leading 1-0. And we'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on F&B Communications in Wheatland, Iowa. Wheatland, yes. First pitch strike to Deanna, who's 0 for 1. He struck out his first at bat. Didn't swing the bat. Jimenez didn't throw a strike. And he called him out on 3 pitches off the plate. Bases loaded, nobody out.
And after the first pitch, Showalter had his infield move into a radical shift for Navarro.
And he's not going to get that one. So he starts it off with a base hit.
They had the same defense on that pitch that they had on the first pitch. It would have been an easy ground ball to shortstop. But as you can see, the shift makes Machado the only guy on the left side of the infield, and he can't get to it.
So here's Austin. 0 for 1.
Stop by Joseph as that sweeping slider well off the plate into the dirt.
Two and 0. First and 30, Austin. That ball hit hard and the slicing away from Adam Jones. So he's going to second and 30. Austin with a double. Ducks on the pond, nobody out.
Good heads up base running by Austin Jackson, because even if Jones comes up with this one cleanly, he's going away from the throw. With a wet outfield and a wet baseball, Austin knows from experience it's going to be difficult. So he goes into second base, sees it right away and doesn't hesitate. So a golden opportunity to tack some more on.
Adams 0 for 2, a strikeout. And a ground out, hard ground out. Chris Davis at first base. Oh, and 1 to count. There's a shot. That's a foul ball.
Breaks his bat, hits it off the end of the bat. Now he's in an 0-2 hole. Apparently the bat's intact. Anything to the middle infield is going to score a run.
Watch out.
That got him. And he got lucky because that one almost took his beard off. Oh, 0-2 fastball, and he sails it up and in. And for Adam, as he raises his arm, it hit off the uniform. He's doing that for protection, and he gets the bag. Oh, that was close. Taking some time to gather his wits about him before he heads to first base. It's 4th time he's been hit.
So here is Carlos. Carlos 0 for 2. He was robbed of extra bases on a beautiful play by Chris Davis. His last time up.
Second time Jimenez has had the bases loaded and nobody out.
Did not go. Big call right there.
Pretty good speed at first and second.
Back through the middle. They're not going to be able to get him, so 1 run crosses the plate, and it's a 2-0 ball game with Jackson in the 3rd.
First run batted in. Carlos Sanchez, he takes it right back up the middle. Hardy with a nice job, but there's no way that Scope can take a couple of steps as he has to go to the bag and still try to get it there, although it was a good effort.
So here's Abreu, a walk and a ground out to third. Come on, Jose, we need that man in. That's softly hit into center field. That's going to fall for the base hit, so Austin will score. And it's a 3-0 Sox lead.
RBI number 14 for Jose, who's always had pretty good luck against Jimenez. Doesn't hit it hard, but when you're a run producer, you're looking for something up in the zone anyway, and he dumped it into center field. Dave Wallace goes out to have a little talk with Jimenez, who's never had great luck against the Sox. He was 3-4. His ERA 4.19 coming into this one. He's been touched up for 3 runs.
So here's Tide. Hit the ball hard twice into the hole at third, and here's his last at bat. Watch this one. Rocket.
Machado doesn't get his glove on it. It's going into left field.
That hit him.
Hermes coming out now to take a look. A lot of small bones in the back of the hand and the wrist. Not a particularly good sign. But hopefully things will work out okay as Hermy checking it out.
Oh, that stuff Jimenez is throwing up there. He's got a pitch inside.
Yeah, I mean, his fastball, and that was 88 miles an hour.
I mean, he's not throwing a whole bunch up there. Todd says he's okay.
Melky crushed the ball last time, looking for a little more of the same here. Once again, the bases are loaded. Vance Worley, who came in late last night and didn't look all that good, up and throwing early in this one.
Melky has walked and then hit that bullet. The record takes first pitch strike. Outfield straight up. Maybe just a slight gap out there in left center. Oh, and 2.
Melky with just 7 strikeouts this year in 91 at bats.
Stay fair. It won't. Count hangs and no balls, 2 strikes. Pokes that one into left field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So here comes one. Here comes Abreu. They might get him. Meanwhile, it's 4-0.
Ramos made a couple of good throws in this series, and that one right on the money as Melky drives in his 8th run of the year. Just in protection mode, dumps it in front of Reimold. Then he makes a very good throw to the plate. Well, that was really close at the plate.
From up here, it looked like he had his foot there before he got tagged.
Looked to me like he did from that angle.
So here is Laurie. A single and a line shot home run right over the center field fence. Ball gets away. Going to go to second base. Almost threw it into center field. As Todd moves into third, and a good job by Melky. Get back in at first.
Will goes a wild pitch.
Count evens at 1. Take another look. Look at this now. Got him just before he got there. That had a piece of the plate, didn't get it, and the count 2-1.
Waldo throws a lot of pitches in the dirt, and Todd Frazier has got to be coming down the line with a good secondary lead, anticipating that a splitter or slider will be there, and that was another one in the dirt. A good stop by Joseph.
Well, it's too early to tell yet, but from what we've seen of Todd, he might just be the best base runner on this team.
He's very aware and has been his whole career on the base pad.
3-1. And once again, the bases are loaded.
With this first White Sox run, E-Click Lending will donate $100 to the Pat Tillman Foundation, supporting military veterans and their families. As Brett Lawrie, his 3rd home run in as many days, his 4th for the season, and once again the bases loaded.
And here's Sands, who has walked and struck out. Called out on a tough pitch. Come on, Terry. Out and around it. Softly hitting the center field, and that's going to fall. That's going to score a pair, and it's a 6-0 Sox lead. Little Kansas City special.
This one in on the hands, and Jerry Sands making the most of his opportunity to play. Drives in his 4th and 5th run of the year. That's 6 big ones up on the board. Jimenez is done for the day as Buck Showalter goes out, asks for the baseball, and we will step out as he walks out, and we'll be back after these messages. Against Worley, who we saw briefly last night. He's on for the 6th time. He's 1-0. His ERA .377. He started a couple of ball games. He now has relieved in 4 of them. And he's got to face Deanna Navarro in what has turned into a very big 5th.
Don't stop now, boys. Deanna started this inning off with a single. Back through the middle. Checks it up, takes strike 1. And count 0-2.
Well, he was with the Pirates last year, a year where he also split the season between the starting rotation and the bullpen.
Got him, but a big crooked number goes up on that board. We're halfway home leading. 6-0. Very much, buddy. 6 runs on 7 hits, no errors for our guys. No runs on 4 hits, no errors for the Orioles. Caleb Joseph hit a high shot back off the leg of Chris Sale, who picked it up, threw him out.
Chris would love to be able to keep pitches to a minimum. He's at 78 already as we start the 5th inning. 3 strikeouts last inning for Chris Sale, giving him 4 for the day.
A little tardy on that one.
Baldo Jimenez, 4 2/3 innings, 6 runs on 7 hits, 4 walks and 3 strikeouts. Not a very good day, as Jimenez, who got through the first 3, didn't have good stuff.
He gone, 1 out.
3 straight strikeouts for Chris. So things heating up for him as he throws a pinpoint fastball on the inside corner right by Caleb Joseph.
So here is Packard. 1 for 2. Full count.
Rickard at least will battle you up there.
He's got a nice plate presence.
Sox fans, join us on Thursday, May 19th as the White Sox take on the Houston Astros at 7:10. First 10,000 fans will receive a free T-shirt presented by Prairie Farms and North Star Frozen Treats. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
So here's Manny Machado, 2 for 2, a hard single to the left and a hard single to the right. Strike. At the top, he didn't get it in the count 1-1. Machado all over everything up there at the plate.
A good straight change. Machado able to fall it off. Looks like he is looking for the ball away, which allowed him to hit the breaking ball the first time and the fastball away the second time. See if Navarro wants his fastball in. So Chris quick pitched him and tried to change the eyesight. Is 68% fastballs, 23% sliders. Not throwing the changeup a whole lot today.
Flips that one over our dugout for a souvenir. Yank foul.
And was able to stay on a changeup long enough. It had a good shot of being 2 if in fact it was a fair ball.
Two and two. And another souvenir.
With Chris at 98 pitches and an off day tomorrow, this could be one of those empty the bullpen days. You don't figure that Robin's going to allow him to go too much more than 110, 115. A lot of pitches with 1 out in the 5th.
Full count. Good at bat right there by Machado. So back-to-back walks. Fourth one issued by Chris. And here comes Trumbo, who has fouled out to first and struck out.
Chris's pitching line is brought to you by American Sail. It's only 4 1/3, does not qualify for a win yet. With 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 100 pitches, that is a whole lot of work. Chris has not had and will not have a 1-2-3 inning in his first 5. So Don Cooper out to have a word with him. It's an Oriole lineup that can jump on you in a hurry, especially if you give them a little help.
Well, we talked about it. First game with this lineup, they've got 2 things you don't want to do. You don't want to walk them. You don't want to give them any extra outs in the inning.
You really don't get a breather up and down this lineup. They got power at the bottom. They certainly have a bunch in the middle, and with Machado in the 2 spot, they got some near the top.
There's a strike. Trumbo coming into this ball game that faced Chris 11 times, has 5 hits, 1 homer. 0-2 the count.
It's a good spot to throw him, right in under his hands. With no chance that time.
Two and two. Get foul. Get foul. Is it real?
One fastball in under his hands, and it will end this at bat. So 2-2 count with 1 out here in the 5th inning. Adam Jones in the on deck circle, and he's got him with a good slider. So the 2nd out of the inning. 6th strikeout for Chris Sale. That ball dips down and out of the zone. Navarro does a nice job of going down, making sure it doesn't get by him. And with 2 on, 2 out, turns it over to Adam Jones, who drew a walk in the 1st inning, grounding into a double play on a fine effort by Frazier in the 3rd. Sox leading 6-0.
Gap out there, big gap in left center. Right at Austin Jackson. Can of corn, and that'll retire the side. So this game is official.
and gentlemen, defensive changes for the Orioles. Entering the game at third base, number 24, Pedro Alvarez. Moving from third base to shortstop, number 13.
Good guys on top 6-0 here in the top of the 6th inning.
Manny Machado has shifted over to play shortstop. J.J. Hardy has left the game, and Pedro Alvarez comes in at third base.
And here is Austin Jackson, had a big double back in that 5-run fifth.
Alvarez started last night's game, had a single, a homer, and a double his first 3 at bats. And he ended the game a triple shy of a cycle.
That ball's off the glove of Alvarez, so Austin's going to pick himself up another 2-bagger. That's his 7th.
That ball down and in, and the big difference for Austin is that it is Alvarez at third and not Machado. Pedro got a glove on it, but couldn't make the catch.
Well, Machado there, Austin would just be getting ready to sit down in the dugout.
Keep walking back.
Here's Adam Eaton, 0 for 2. He last time up, he almost took one right in the face. He's 0 for 2 with that hit by a pitch. It was close. And if you missed it,
fortunately, he got his right arm up. That ball was real close.
all right, they'll get the job done.
Check in during your visit to U.S. Cellular Field using MLB.com Ballpark, the official U.S. Cellular Field app for your iPhone and Android smartphone. And it perfectly complements your trip with ballpark maps, concessions, guides, check-in prizes, and more. Download MLB.com Ballpark today or visit WhiteSox.com/ballpark app.
Infield in now for Carlos Sanchez, who is 0 for 3, but he has an RBI and a run scored. And when Adam got back to his dugout, all of his teammates got up. A high five, getting Austin over the third, even in the 6-0 lead. Very seldom ever, if you're going to be a real solid contending ball club, very seldom get away from basic fundamental baseball.
It's just good practice to get into, even if it's 6-0 or 8-0, whatever.
That's exactly right. You got to keep doing it. Now, every now and then there are exceptions. If the guy's going for something, you know, whatever, 20th home run, 30th home run, 100th RBI. He'd like to have that one back. 2-2. Take him up, Carlos. And it's full. Abreu on deck. So Carlos should get something good to hit right here. Taste it way up and out of the zone.
That fastball has not touched 90 yet. But you're not going to catch up to it up there, even at 89.
Here's Abreu, a walk, a grounder, and an RBI single. Watch out. That got a good piece of Worley right there. He knocks it down, picks it up, throws him out. And that'll retire the side. But that ball, wow.
And it's the Oriole defense, which has been pretty good today. This one in the hole, J.J. Hardy on a skip throw and a good pick by Davis. Then Davis, diving toward the line, takes away a double from Sanchez. And then an immaculate deflection. 5-6-3, robbing Frazier of at least a base hit. So the Sox fans love the fact that it's 6-0. And with Jake Petrichka loosening in the pen, you wonder how long Chris Sale is for this game.
Chris Davis takes a strike, but he called it a ball. 1-0. That's into center field, and that's going to fall for a base hit.
J.J. Hardy left the game with a foot problem. And Chris Sale will not have a 1-2-3 inning today, as he's at the 109 pitch mark. The first two guys swing from the left side.
The count. That had a good part of the zone.
Well, Chris is unhappy. He's not getting much. Jerry Davis.
Anything. Jerry Davis. All right. Bobble, bobble. Now he goes to first.
Would have been a fairly easy 2 the way Alvarez runs, but take 1. And here comes Robin. That's going to be it for Chris Sale. At the 112 pitch mark, he is going to leave this one undoubtedly, and Jake Petrichka will come in. So Chris will leave Alvarez on, leading 6-0, and give way to Jake Petrichka. So as he walks in, we'll walk out and be back after these messages. It's our Hyundai call to the pen, and it is Jake Petrichkin. He inherits the base runner at first. On for the 9th time. 4.70 ERA. And we've seen him in this series, and it was a tough outing for him. He hung a slider out over the plate, and Manny Machado hit a grand slam in the 6th inning of the opener. Jake charged with 4 runs, 3 of them earned, and a couple of hits. Now, Chris Sale didn't have really good stuff today, but showing how good a pitcher he's become. Without his good stuff, he's taken a very potent lineup, an Oriole lineup that has produced a home record of 9-2, and he pretty much stifled them despite not having a 1-2-3 inning.
So 1 out, 1 on, and here is Nolan Reimold. Reimold is popped to short and struck out. That's what good pitchers do. They have their good stuff and their good control. You might as well send it up to Cooperstown. But when they don't have their good stuff, they find a way to beat you. Saying if you have to have your good stuff and your good control to win a major league game, you're not going to win a whole bunch.
And Chris certainly battled. He had lots of base runners today, much more than he's used to.
Well, he's got a whole bunch of Mark Burley on those insides.
Mention Mark Burley with his stuff.
Oh, you kidding me? You kidding me?
He'd have won 400 games.
Oh. Mark had Chris Sale's stuff. But Chris is, I tell you what a competitor. What a competitor. What a great teammate he is. Teammates in those guys.
Nope. This has certainly come a long way. His pitching acumen was pretty good from the beginning. It's absolutely great now. You get a real good idea what he's got on any given day and how to adjust from hitter to hitter.
Well, coaches really have a large part to play in that. There's no hitting coach that's going to be able to fix every hitter. Can't do it. That's the toughest uniform position in baseball, is a hitting coach. Pitching coaches is a very tough job, and you're not going to be able to fix every pitcher. Unfortunately, that man right there, as I said many times, in my opinion, MVP of this organization for the last 10, 12, 13 years. That's back through the middle. Hits the bag. So they're going to get on the board.
That's the first run all year that Nolan Reimold has driven in that wasn't by way of the home run. That's his 6th. Takes it right back up the middle. Cuts it to a 5-run lead, and that'll end Chris's day. 5 1/3 with a run on 5 hits, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts.
A good coach can mean so much to a young player coming to the big leagues. Scope, infield single and a strikeout, and a 1-1 count.
Yanner can't find out where it is. By the time he does, Reimold goes all the way to third. Sometimes you just lose sight of the ball. That's when the pitcher's got to come in and scream behind you. But watch it here. Yanner doesn't know where it is, and he can't find it. So by the time he can, Reimold on his way to third. Now the infield is back conceding the run.
Well, if anybody thinks this ball game is over, better have another redo on that.
Don Cooper calling the bullpen. He wants somebody up in a hurry and wants to make sure they're ready to go.
Jake's going to have to. He's going to have to retool. He's going to have to get that mirror looking at him.
Well, he came in with 7 walks in 7 1/3 innings. Now 3 wild pitches.
With his stuff, and you and I both know it's easier said than done, but with his stuff, he just got to throw it over.
What happens a lot of times with Jake is that he'll get under the ball. He's got a great sinker when he stays on top, and many times he gets under it and the ball stays up. So now he is 1 out away from getting out of this inning.
It's Caleb Joseph. I've talked to opposing hitters about Patricia, and now almost this consensus is almost unanimous. He's got great stuff, but he's not going to have great stuff to pitch 203-1. 2-0 the count. It's 3-0.
So Albers ready to go if Jake has some problems.
That's 4-0.
Don wants to find out if he is, and he gives the affirmative to Robin, and here comes Robin.
So runners at the corners, 2 out, and Robin is out of the dugout. And he wants Albers. So Patricia has problems. He's going to depart, and we'll be back.
Hyundai called to the pen, and it is Matt Albers. So Matt had his scoreless streak and scoreless appearance streak come to an end. He's on for the 12th time.
That was with an unearned run.
Yeah, a couple of them, and 1-0, no ERA. 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 11 2/3. He inherits runners at the corners, and he moves to the top with Joey Rickard.
He gave up 1 run unearned. As here is Rickard. Want to know the count. That ball hit hard into center field. Austin is back there, right in front of the Southwest.com sign, hauls it in, and that'll retire the side. It is 6-1 Sox. Luke Stuckmeyer for a special taping of Beer Money at 6 p.m. at Turtles Bar and Grill in Chicago. Come out for the fun. Test your sports trivia knowledge, and you could win cash. Beer Money presented by Coors Light. It's a 6-1 Sox lead.
Well, that was a blast off the bat of Rickard. Fortunately, it stayed in the ballpark, or this one would have gotten a little tight.
Well, I said Rickard's got a nice plate presence up there. Sometimes you don't have to get hits to impress people. The bat he had against Nate Jones last night, they'll tell you he's got a chance.
And this is a guy they got as a Rule 5 you're getting for basically nothing.
Must be nice that they're that talented and stocked up.
Tampa Bay. They have a lot of those guys like Brendan Geyer who would fall into the 4th outfielder. The guy can't play every day, and so they had to drop somebody off the roster, and it was him.
High pop up right side. I mean high.
Boy, it was circle the wagons on that one. He drifts, the wind is taking it, and it just almost drops out of the glove.
Well, even when he first came in with Texas, he was not a real bad first baseman. But since then, he has become a real good first baseman.
Well, Texas has brought to the big leagues a lot of good hitting first basemen. They're playing other places now, but they're pretty good.
Yeah, Texas is one of those organizations that have a lot of real good players playing with other teams.
Well, you know, especially at one position, they run up a bunch.
D-backs had that reputation for a long time too. A lot of outstanding players playing at other teams. Melky. A walk, a line drive to right, RBI single, and a run scored, and there's another base hit.
Hey, Sox fans, you win with Papa John's Pizza all season long. The day after the Sox win, you get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items only at papajohns.com when you use promo code SOXWIN at any participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Here's Brett. Hard single. Hard home run right over that center field fence if you missed it. Just a line drive and then a walk. Reminder, off day tomorrow.
Very welcome. Off day tomorrow.
There's another bullet fair. He just absolutely wearing it out, because now they're going to hold Melky at third.
Britt Laurie is a triple shy of the cycle. Well, this is one, even if Machado was at third base, which he isn't since Hardy left the game, nobody has a shot at this one. That's a rocket. So a chance to score a few more, which is advisable against the team with the Thunder of Baltimore.
So they're in. And he takes strike one. There he is, walked, struck out, and had a little Kansas City special, knocking in 2 runs. Oh, and 2. Knock him off the mound, Jerry. Right back to the middle, buddy. Two down. Here's DeHonor. He's 1 for 3. Takes it right there, wheelhouse. Outfield straight up. Slight gap out there in left center. There's Press into center field. And it'll retire the side. 7th inning stretch. We lead it by 5. Sox lead. Finale of this 4-game set and the finale of this 7-game road trip. Started off with those 3 up in Toronto and the Sox swept that series. Something that's very, very difficult to do. And then come in here, lose the first 2 games. And win last night in a comeback fashion, 8-7. And scoring here 1 in the 4th. That was a home run by Brett Laurie. And 5 in the 5th. The Orioles picking up their run last inning. 28,803.
In a tough inning ahead of Matt Albers, who's on the relief of Petrichka, who took over for Chris Sale. Sale went 5 in the 3rd. Guys were just a 1 run. He's got a good lead, but it's never too comfortable with Machado, Trumbo, and Jones. If anybody gets on, Chris Davis. Duel.
Sox, as I mentioned, will come home after this ball game. Off day tomorrow. Make your plans to be with us at the ballpark on Tuesday. Carmine's from Boston. The Red Sox come to town for 3, followed by Minnesota for 3. And he got a pretty good pitch hit right there. Couldn't do anything with it.
Red Sox playing good solid baseball. They come in just a half game back of Baltimore in the AL East.
And he's hitting a .357 on the season. He is now 8 hits. He's 8 for 16 in this series.
And Zach Duke loosening up. You got Davis and Alvarez, the 2 left-hand hitters that will be the 4th and 5th hitter this inning if Alvarez doesn't get Trumbo and Jones.
And Jennings came in yesterday's ball game. Faced two guys, struck them both out.
He was pretty impressive yesterday. Got the nod and did exactly what he was asked to do.
He's got good stuff. Jumbo cannot check it up. Mark is fouled out to Abreu and a couple of strikeouts. That 3-game set against the Red Sox starting on Tuesday. We're going to run Quintana, Danks, and Rodon out there. It's the southpaws. They have not announced their rotation. But if you can't make it to the ballpark, the Tuesday game will be over. Comcast Sportsnet. Wednesday game over WPWR. And Thursday over Comcast Sportsnet Plus. Says he's gone. 2 down.
Well, Boston entertains the Yankees in the Sunday night game in Boston, and David Price is scheduled to go in that one. So assuming that it's not rained out, Price in his 3-0 record, despite a very high 5.76 ERA, will not be facing our ball club in Chicago. That's not a bad thing.
Hit hard by Adam, and it's off the wall. Now he's going to have to be held to a single.
Well, they've seen Adam Eaton throw in this series and realize that he's not only strong of arm but very accurate. And Jones took 2 steps and figured, I better get back to first base. Watch this play by Adam Eaton as Adam Jones goes opposite field, takes it off the wall. The worst thing you do is get trapped too close to the wall. Adam doesn't do that, and with a bare hand, this comes up firing. And Adam Jones takes a look, thinking about 2, and then whoops, wait a second.
All right, so Matt Albers works 1 inning, giving us no runs, 1 hit. He departs. Duke will come on in. We'll be back.
Defend, and it's the same man that Zach Duke faced last night. Outside, he worked him down, and Davis got a pretty good at bat and drove a double and drove in 2 runs.
Shift is on. Breaking ball strike. That's going foul. Just foul. Thank you very much.
Another low pitch and another rope, but fortunately on the right side of the line.
Go a fastball right underneath his hands. Two. "47 home runs last year. 17 RBIs for Chris. Got it up. He can't get there. Strikes him out. And we'll go to the 8th.
In the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and here's our Miller moment. And in the middle of a 5-run fifth, Jerry Sands came up, drove in his 4th and 5th run of the year, dumping it in front of Adam Jones, and it was one of the big hits in an inning that, if not putting it away, certainly made things a lot more comfortable.
First pitch strike to Austin's had a big game for us. 2 for 3, 2 doubles. Big hit back in that 5th inning after Navarro let it off with a base hit. He doubled to put him on 3rd. Both of them scored. Great pickup with this ball club. Great acquisition. Two and one. Jammed himself a little bit right there. Machado.
Well, it gives you an idea how strong that arm is, because he was on the move, going to his right, throwing across his body, and he was able to get off not only an accurate throw, but a very strong throw.
Well, if you look at the talent that's in the American League at shortstop and young players like Machado, I'll tell you, this is just fun to watch.
And shortstop and third base both have become glamour positions in the American League these days.
No question about it. Best I've ever seen in all my years in this game. 56 of them. Baseball is well positioned to be really fun to watch for a long time.
We're going to see one come in, Xander Bogaerts, when Boston comes to town.
So you just keep on going. Kid complete. Lindor.
Yeah.
He's going to be about as good as it gets.
Lindor, Correa from Houston.
And on and on.
Yeah, Iglesias from Detroit.
Kid in New York. He's fun to watch. Glorious.
Yeah,
I've never seen this. You know, it didn't all look just overall. You go to Harper, Trout, and those young kids. 2 down. For years and years, all the great young talent coming into the league is a rule outfielders. Now it's infielders. If you're talking about numbers.
The outfielder we saw from Texas, Mazzara, boy, he looks good. He's right in the middle in the top 10. 5th in the league in hitting. Nomar Mazzara. Remember that name because you're going to be hearing a lot about him.
Do I know the count to Carlos? Has an RBI and a run scored. And then the count 3-0.
There's another former infielder who came up an infielder, and we're going to see him with Boston. Mookie Betts.
He's coming into his own.
Boy, he's a good one.
Junior's not playing too bad either.
Jack Bradley Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good one also.
Three and one. And there's ball 4.
Join White Sox Charities for the annual garage sale on May 14th at U.S. Cellular Field. You can take home a piece of White Sox history, including game-used equipment jerseys, hats, and much more. Entrance to the garage sale is free. For more information, visit WhiteSoxCharities.org.
Vance Worley has done a good job. He's worked 3 innings since coming on. Giving him 3 hits, no runs. 1 walk, has 3 strikeouts.
They have the off day tomorrow too, but anytime you can save some wear and tear for that bullpen, you're doing okay.
There's a base hit in right field.
Jose's got 2 and would have had 3, but he hit a rocket shot back at Worley, who was able to knock it down with his body and save a run in the 6th inning. Oriole bullpen continues to work.
So here's Todd. He's 0 for 3. He's hit by a pitch, scored a run. The last time up, he hit a major league pop-up. He takes that strike.
Ryan Mattis throwing in the pen.
To the count. 2 on, 2 out. Just didn't get a piece of it. Taking some other scores for you. Bottom of the 5th. At Target Field. Minnesota leading the Tigers 4-2. Kansas City hitting in the top of the 1st at Seattle. Phillies shutting out Cleveland 2-0. That's bottom of the 5th. As he gets it. So good job by Vince Worley. We will go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Sounding good as usual.
And he's able to stay out of that bad weather for the time being.
Well, he's very resourceful. A lot of areas. Here is Pedro Alvarez to face Zach Duke. He's been on the plate one time and grounded out to Brett Laurie. Takes first pitch, strike. Outfield shading him to the left. Big gap out there in right center. Way you back. And 4 or 5 steps off the line at first. 0-2 the count. And taking some other scores. Bottom of the 8th. At Citi Field. San Francisco leading the Mets 6-1. Mentioned Phillies shutting out Cleveland 2-0. That's at the bottom of the 5th. And Citizens Bank. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh tied at 4. Bottom of the 8th. Milwaukee hammering the Marlins 11-4. Top of the 5th at Miller Park. Braves shutting out the Cubs 3-0. That's in the top of the 8th at Wrigley. Texas 2, Angels 1. Bottom of the 4th down at Arlington. Houston scored a run at the top of the 1st out at the Coliseum against the Athletics. Oh, he just ate him off right there. 1 out.
Follow White Sox baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Toronto beat Tampa Bay 5-1. And Josh Donaldson cranked out his 9th home run. Tulowitzki his 5th. a good lineup. Wow. Our Sox going there. 3 games starting off this road trip. Let's bring the broom out.
Well played series, and a very good chance to come home 5-2 on what looked to be and was certainly a very difficult road trip.
Anytime you start off a road trip in Toronto, it's going to be a difficult.
And then come here against a team with only 1 loss.
There you go. Anytime you do that, or anytime you start off a road trip here in Baltimore, it's going to be a tough road trip. So here's Scope. Had an infield single. He's 1 for 3. Josh Donaldson. Oh boy. Two hopper, ate him up. And a nice inning for Zach Duke. We're into the 9th, leading by 5. And a reminder, Tuesday night, your Chicago White Sox return to beautiful U.S. Cellular Field as they open up a series with Big Papi, David Ortiz, and the Red Sox. It all starts at 7 right here on Comcast Sportsnet Chicago.
A new pitcher coming in the ball game, and that is Brian Mattis. Left-hander now working exclusively out of the bullpen. We saw him last night. He was on for a 1/3 of an inning. Got his job done, and that was it.
And here's Melky, 2 for 3, RBI, run scored. Next first pitch strike.
On for the 4th time is Brian Mattis, with an ERA a little higher than he would like.
Oh, 1-2 the count.
David Robertson throwing in the pen, back with the ball club after a bereavement leave.
There's another base hit from Melky. Just a bullet in center field.
Three for 4 today with a run driven in and a run scored for Melky.
So here's Brett. He's 3 for 3. Hard single, hard double, and then back in the 4th inning, a hard line drive home run right over that center field fence.
Well, you can bet if he hits one in the gap that Melky better be running, because Laurie's going to be running up his back to get a triple.
He's done a lot of things to impress us all, certainly with his energy and what he brings to the ball club. But one of the things that impressed me the most about Brett this year is that's in the dirt, blocked nicely by Joseph. He had a high pop-up. Not real high, I would say medium height pop-up. Out short right field. Between the second baseman and the right fielder coming in. And when the right fielder caught the ball, he was like 2 steps from second base.
Well, there's not one moment on the field where he's not going to give you everything he's got.
2 steps from second base on a medium pop-up. Three and 0 the count. So he is perfect, reaching base 5 times in this ball game. Meanwhile, 2 on, nobody out. And here comes Jerry Sands, who was 1 for 3, but it was a big 2 RBI single.
It's the 6th walk of the day. It'd be hard pressed to find too many times when this team will draw 6 walks in a game. Drawing your walks means that a lot of your hitters are seeing the ball very well.
There's a strike to Jerry. You got to take your walks. You got to take them. Because if you don't, you start expanding that strike zone. You put yourself right in the hole, right? In funk.
I'm sure the Orioles are very happy with the job of Vance Worley today. He picked up for Jimenez, who was battered for 6 runs in 4 2/3, and he threw 3 1/3 scoreless.
And that was after getting smoked back in the 6th. Bullet off the bat of Abreu. That strike evens count at 2. Yeah, he did a heck of a job out there for him.
Saved the bullpen, certainly.
That's in the hole. So they're going to hold Melky at 3rd. Sacks packed, nobody out.
This is the 3rd time in this ball game that Sox have had bases loaded and nobody out.
And here comes Navarro. DeHonor 1 for 4 with a run scored. He started off at 5-run 5th with a base hit up the middle.
We told you the Orioles are in the middle of a stretch, and it's very schedule friendly. 20 games, 17 of them at home, starting with the White Sox, so they've got to take advantage of this.
Way out in front of that one. And that's into left field. Now he's tagging. Here he comes. He's going to score. And it's a 7-1 Sox lead.
9th run driven in by DeHonor.
And here's Austin. 2 for 4, 2 doubles, and a run scored. I mentioned earlier after DeHonor led off the 5th with that single. He doubled him to 3rd, so they had 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. And Eaton was hit by a pitch. Load him up. One and one. Outfield straight up, spaced about equidistant. Out in front, off the end of the bat, and they get to force it 2nd. So 2 down, runners at the corners. Of all the acquisitions, least publicized has been Austin Jackson.
Well, he's done.
And if you take everything, defense, everything, he's been just about as valuable as anybody we acquired.
Well, Adam Eaton gives him a whole lot of credit for what he's done in right field. He said he'll look over and Austin will tell him where to position. And it certainly helped him very well. So he's been very much a subject of praise by his other outfielders.
Oh, yeah. And all of his teammates. But, you know, it's like we gave you the formula on that. The better that center fielder is, the more ground he can cover. Right center, center, and left center. The less ground those corners have to play. And it gives them a lot more confidence out there. We've had a lot of balls down the line because of Austin Jackson down the line in left field and certainly in right field, but more in left field. That have been normally doubles. That first game in Minnesota, Ryan Dozier leading, ripped that double down the left field line and he's got shocked because he had to hold at first base because it was a single. That set the tone for that whole series. That's out of play. One in. 2 on, 2 out. And the 2-2 pitch. Machado's going to take it himself, but we pick up 1 and we will go to the bottom of the 9th leading 7-1.
David Robertson comes on to pick up an inning. He's on for the 11th time. His ERA still below 1.87. Some very impressive numbers across the board. Doesn't matter left or right-handed. He's been getting everybody out. With the off day, Robin figures after missing 3 games, it's best to get David an inning of work. So Chris Sale, in 3 more outs, will move to 6-0 this year. Just a wonderful start to this season. 6-0 in 6 starts. Like before this particular decision, Chris Sale joined only Randy Johnson and John Garland, the only pitchers in the last 20 years to win each of their first 5 starts, while throwing a total of 38 innings. So this will just add to that.
Here's Caleb Joseph. 0 for 2 with the walk. Seven 13-0 for us, 1-7-0 for them. We have stranded 12. They have left 10.
David just slipped off the mound, and hopefully he's okay. We talked about that footing. So his front foot slipped. That one right into the ground.
2-0. Slices that one into the seats for a souvenir. Just tuning in, Stocks is 1 in the 4th, 5 in the 5th, and 1 in the top of the 9th. That's 1 home run in this ball game, that by Brett Laurie. A shot right over that center field fence. His 3rd home run of the series. Full count. Caleb Joseph. And another super. Here's Reichert. He is 1 for 3 with a hard single, a walk, and a deep drive to center field.
You saw Robin pointing to Abreu to play behind Joseph at first base. From a better angle than anything Rickert might shoot down there, and he's had some pretty impressive at bats during the course of this series.
Drops that one on him, and that evens the count at 1. 2-2. Sanchez, Lowry can't turn it. 1 out. And here comes Manny Machado, 2 for 3 today. Eight for 16 in the series. Takes first pitch strike. Detroit has come back to tie Minnesota at 5. That's in the bottom of the 6th inning. Fought that pitch off. Kansas City leading Seattle 1-0. That's in the bottom of the 2nd. Out in the Great Pacific Northwest. One and two. After 8 at Wrigley, Atlanta leading the Cubs 3-2. Nasty Nats shutting out the Cardinals 5-0 in St. Louis. He gone. He knew it. Hook.
He buckled his knees, and that was a dandy. One of the better pitches of the day. Machado not ready for that one. You saw the legs buckle, and he just walks on back.
10th strikeout for our pitching. 2 down, 1 on. It's Mark Trumbo. Mark is 0 for 4 today. And that's ball had all kinds of spin on it.
Broke his bat, and see Carlos Sanchez just going the wrong way. That ball was drifting to his left.
I think that was because of the spin. That thing fooled him. So here's Adam Jones. He's 1 for 3. Adam 5 for 15 in the series. Seven-1 Sox here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And count 0-2. Mr. Jones. Mentioned 28,803. They had 29,152 last evening. That's outside. ball high and deep into right center field, but we got a man there. Makes the catch, and this ball game is over. So the Sox start off this 7-day road trip. 3 in Toronto, win 3 in Toronto.